This week, we're checking in with Councilman Andrew Owen. He is the newly elected representative for District 9, which includes neighborhoods around Frankfort Avenue and parts of Shelbyville Road. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the Frankfort Avenue rightsizing. We know it's making some changes, all in the name of safety, but there's some nearby business owners that weren't so happy with the original plan. Where have you guys landed?
So we've been working with KYTC on this from the very beginning, and I've been proud of the fact that we've been able to slow the process down enough to be able to have conversations with neighbors and business owners and all of the stakeholders involved. So that's a good thing. Where we're ending up, and I will say that it's a little bit counterintuitive for me as an urban planner. For me, having bike lanes and having walkability and pedestrian-oriented streets is very important. But what I will say is our small business owners have gone through a lot. They went through the pandemic, and then they went through closing of Frankfort Avenue for almost a year for the Louisville Water Company project. And so when they reached out and said, oh my gosh, I don't know if we can take another big change to our business operations, that carried some weight for many of us. And so where we ended up was frankly prioritizing some of the on-street parking on the kind of far east side of Frankfort Avenue to preserve that parking for the businesses, make sure that people weren't parking in the neighborhoods in front of houses, because that's usually the result when you take away parking on Frankfort Avenue. And so we ended up with a little bit different result than we kind of started with, but because we were able to talk about it in a good forum, I'm proud of that.
It's good to hear about those community conversations and it ending somewhere different. I think everyone appreciates that. Now let's talk about the jail. There's been lots of discussions about where we go with the jail. Do we create an entirely new facility or do we use that money elsewhere? Where do you think we should go here?
So I have a very different perspective than I did when I came into office. And one of the things that changed for me was that I went on a tour of the facility. And I think it would be hard to have a well-informed opinion unless you have been inside that facility. So while theoretically, I think spending hundreds of millions of dollars on a new jail is probably not the best way to go, perhaps spending on social services, physical and mental health services, wraparound services for the people that are incarcerated. I will also say that I think the built environment is very important, and in my opinion, no human should have to spend very much time inside that facility, whether you are incarcerated or frankly, whether you work there. If you didn't have mental health issues when you went in, you probably would when you came out. And so for me, there's somewhere in between where we can do wraparound services to try to make sure that the people that leave our jail are in a better position than when they came in. I think that's very important as a government. But maybe we, do a new facility that's much smaller scale, built, and try to do some judicial reform along the line too, so we're not incarcerating as many people going forward.
A lot to think about there. Councilman Owen.
It's a complex issue.
Thank you so much for coming on and giving us some updates here.
All right, appreciate it, thanks.
Thank you.